Warming has become a very hot topic over the last 100 years, and with it, the debate about climate change due to human impact. Is the rate of the melting of the polar ice caps a natural cause or a human-made disaster? Our temperatures are rising and the water levels are slowly rising on a worldwide level, but our temperatures also go through fluctuations and cycles. So are humans the cause for global warming? Yes. We, as humanity, are advancing the natural temperature cycles. The result, Earth is warming at a fast rate due to CO2 amounts in our atmosphere put out every day by emissions and the burning of fossil fuel. CO2 has a small lag period until it rises after the temperatures do. The Milankovitch cycles are the cycles that show the warm and cold periods of the Earth's temperatures. These show that the Earth's temperatures change in periods that fluctuate regularly. Then after the temperature changes, the CO2 levels come up. We interviewed Dr. Melissa Bugosky on her view of global warming. So what is your view on global warming?
I think it is real, and it's caused by humans, and it's only going to get worse, and it's the poorest countries that are going to suffer the most.
According to the World Natural Health Organization, global warming has been happening and can be compared to the 1960s and 70s Ice Age hoax. Law AB 32 states that by 2020, the state will have to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by 25% to meet the amount of greenhouse gases in 1990. The law was signed in 2006 and has not been acted upon. What sorts of evidence do you have to support your idea of global warming not being a hoax?
Right. We have all sorts of observed evidence that it's been happening all over the world. The most obvious places are in the Arctic and Antarctic. Mostly the Arctic with the melting of the sea ice up there. Last year was a new record minimum in sea ice cover in the summer, and it's just been getting worse. And the ice that then reforms in the winter is thinner. There's also a lot of evidence out there with plants and animals. Various species are having issues related to climate change, not just polar bears. Certain ones like the pika, rodents that make the cutest squeaking sound. They're a bit like a squeaky toad, but they have no way to deal with heat in their body system. They don't sweat or anything, so when it reaches too hot of a temperature, which is somewhere around 80 degrees, they just drop dead, and it's been happening more and more. So the species that live at the top of the mountains are basically being pushed off the top of the mountain because they can't go any higher.
Right. 17,000 people have signed a petition made by the Oregon Institute of Science and Medicine, which says, "There is no convincing scientific evidence that human release of carbon dioxide, methane, or other greenhouse gases are causing or will, in the foreseeable future, cause catastrophic heating of the Earth's atmosphere and disruption of the Earth's climate."
Frankly, I forget that it comes up in terms of people who deny climate change still, and they try to use it as evidence, but for those of us who actually work in the field, I think most of us have forgotten that it existed.
Yeah.
So of those 17,000, less than 1% actually identified themselves as people who work in the field of weather or climate.
Right.
And they broadly define scientists, so include everything from medicine over to anybody who had a bachelor's in science, didn't matter what it was.
Right.
I don't exactly consider those people qualified to have an opinion, and even if they had a good opinion, that's not the way science works, not by petitioning people to see what they think.
New geothermal readings show that not the entire globe is warming. Also, computer models cannot predict the future accurately. So why try to fix something that possesses no harm on us? Reducing greenhouse gases would get rid of 2.4 billion jobs and $300 billion output on the economy. Taxes would increase by $93.1 billion and family income per year would drop by around $2,700. Even in the end, all of our efforts would only decrease the temperature by 0.14 degrees Celsius. The Vikings were able to settle in Greenland around 700 AD because of the warmer temperatures that were happening during their time period. If the Earth was warming then, wouldn't it have the similar effect on humanity today? Do you think that the Earth warming would be beneficial to humanity in some way?
I think there are some cases where it will be beneficial, but I think in any sector that you can think of, there are probably more negatives than there are positives. One that people tend to use is plant fertilization. Plants grow better with more carbon dioxide. The problem with that one even is that plants are still limited by other resources. Water, which is becoming more stressed in most places, not all, and the amount of nitrogen in the soil, and even places like Canada and Russia that will have longer growing seasons, they'll still be somewhat limited by the amount of sunlight they get because they're further north, they're closer to the poles, and that's governed by the tilt of the Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Responsible for global warming. We pollute the air with high amounts of CO2 and other gases. All of our potential efforts will only decrease the temperature by 0.14 degrees Celsius. So we may ask this question, is it even worth all of our efforts? There is no exact answer, but we do know for a fact that the Earth's temperature will keep rising due to humanity's pride in our industrial way of life. Global warming will not go away at the blink of an eye. We must do something to help our Earth. But what exactly is there for us to do that will truly help?